To discuss more what is moving the markets, we want to bring in now Rebecca Walser, president of Walser Wealth Management. Rebecca, the U.S. and China reportedly moving closer to reaching a phase one trade deal. Changes every day, it seems like still.
Already 10 minutes.
Exactly, because just yesterday, Trump said at NATO that we might have to wait until next year to get any sort of deal after the election. So what should we make of this continued back and forth from the president on trade?
You know, it's like every day if he says something different, the market's down. He's fine to wait till next year, and then we get news today that the deal looks closer. I wish that the market would not react so much. I think that this is Trump's bargaining tool. Like, he's a chess player with China, and he's going to keep making these moves, and the market just needs to kind of figure that out by now. You know, we've had this almost for, it's been over 18 months. So if the market could just breathe and say, okay, this is Trump playing chess versus this is really the truth, I think China needs a deal. China needs a deal more than we need a deal. And so they're going to do something. And certainly the December 15th deadline is looming. So they're going to want to resolve something before that deadline.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because we obviously varying different reports out there. Wilbur Ross said yesterday most likely there could be something done for phase one on December the 15th. But let's just say hypothetically, Rebecca, nothing happens. The tariffs go into effect on December the 15th. How does the rest of the year for the economy then look? Because markets, analysts and people have been pricing in a trade war in the markets right now.
Yeah, nobody wants the escalation on December 15th, but I also think that it's, again, Trump's way of showing China that they need a deal more than we do. And if he escalates the tariffs on December 15th, it's just going to make China more apt to come to the bargaining table. I think China right now is wanting to outweight this presidency, whether it's through the impeachment or through the election next year. They're thinking they can outweight him, wait him out, basically. And that's not going to happen for them anytime soon. So we'll have to see. Hopefully we will get a deal before December 15th, at least a phase one signed and papered. And that's what we all want. But I think the market will have a negative reaction if that doesn't happen. And we do have an escalation on December 15th.
The month of December, and certainly the end of December, right, when we get the historic Santa Claus rally, which usually plays out every year for the last 5 trading days of the year, and then the first 2 trading days of the next year. On net, Rebecca, are the catalysts more positive or more negative as we head into the end of the year?
I have to say, on balance, they're more positive. Absolutely. Even though our numbers might be soft this month for jobs, we'll find out on Friday. ADP numbers obviously are already soft. We've had still record low unemployment, 50-year low, the lowest African American and Hispanic unemployment ever recorded in the history of America. True wage growth of 3%, and really a tight labor market. Inflation is low. Everything is. The rates of obviously. The Fed has lowered rates so that we can work with that. Home ownership and home starts last month were awesome. They were the best they've been in months. So I would say on balance, even though trade is still possibly not resolved and we don't have a deal papered on phase one, that we overall have strong economic fundamentals moving into 2020.
All right, let's look at some more of the metrics we have, especially from today. Private payrolls increased by just 67,000 for the month of November. That's well below what we were expecting in terms of estimates. That was about 150,000 was what we were actually looking forward to. Why didn't that have a bigger impact on the markets? I mean, we close 150 points in the green today. That normally, traditionally, would sink us today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the market really went down south so much yesterday with Trump's comments from NATO, and then with the positive comments coming out of China today and Wilbur Ross that China's back on track. The market focused on that and not so much the soft ADP numbers that we got today. And I think we're waiting for jobs reports actually on Friday to see what the Labor Department says about it. But I do think that the number is not a overall indication that we have tapped out full employment, which some people could take it that way. People aren't getting hired because there's more jobs and there are people that are trying to get hired. I do think it shows some more weakness than we were expecting, and I think the market will digest that this week still. They're just really taking into China right now.
Rebecca, we are expecting Slack earnings after the bell. The stock ended down about 4% on the session. It is up fractionally after hours. What are you going to be watching for in this report?
Well, I really want to see if the miss is as big as anticipated. There's obviously a loss of earnings per share, and if it's a bigger loss than expected, then we're going to have to see that revenue's a little bit softer than expected, and they're burning through cash with their IPO that went in June. So we have to look to see really what this first full quarter after their Class A shares went in June, what actually happens with the numbers for third quarter.
And by the way, direct listing seemed like it was a popular thing. Spotify did it. Maybe some other people are doing it as well. But now that maybe Slack and other companies have finally gone public, Rebecca, do you think it maybe gives pause to those that maybe thought about going public in 2020 based on how Slack and all the other people have done, those highly unprofitable companies?
Well, WeWork obviously didn't go very well, right?
Right.
But no, if you look through 2020, we've got like 9 big companies that are going to go IPO in 2020. One that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm excited about is Airbnb. I think that's going to be an exciting one. So we'll have to see what happens with the IPO. I do think that we've had somewhat of a bad year, Uber, Lyft, but WeWork didn't even happen. But for the most part, I think next year is going to be a great IPO year.
All right, Rebecca, I think we got to leave it there, but we are awaiting these Slack numbers, and it was a decent day down here for the markets.
Yeah, Rebecca Walser is president of Walser Wealth Management. Thank you so much, Rebecca.